coming to you in landscape mode as requested. So fenders are off. We're getting all this stuff in here, power washed off, cleaned. Same with the engine bay. We're getting all this stuff scuffed up. So I'll take you around to the back of the car. Jeff Ray's been working hard to get our fuel cell kind of in, and the man is a wizard, so cut the entire trunk out, spare tire well out without compromising the frame rails, and we're welding back to it. This is the holder for the fuel cell. She's probably going to reside somewhere right about there. And if I go in the car from this odd view, starting to get all the remnant, like kind of insulation and glue off. I'm getting ready to get this all painted. So we got to make some plates and stuff. Stay tuned for the rest of that, and then I'll show you the rest of the stuff I've got done. Okay, this is the Mark II rear subframe. It's been lovely painted. It's been spot welded in places from the factory, like 1, 2, 3, and so we went ahead and kind of stitch welded all the weak points of it. So because these are clamped together, so the weak points are kind of like, okay, so a lot of the weak points are like the mounting for the control arm. This little pocket here has been all reinforced. Like I said, it's just been really welded anywhere it was missing welds. Welded along the ridge, welded up in there. So she's ready to go back in. We're waiting on some other cool stuff for it. So Quentin's out of frame here, but he did just make me this beautiful door panel. We're gonna trim it up and then make 2 of them and seal it up before she goes to paint. Finally, camber plates. I welded my holes shut. Welded my holes shut right here. That's how these camber plates work. So, because we're trying to get that touring car ride height, and if you haven't looked up, if you're into grid life and racing and stuff, look up this guy Eric Kertel, because he does some crazy stuff in his garage with a Honda. So basically, these are going to go there, right? Camber, and then the angle of this front to back gives us caster. But the cool thing is, because when we're trying to get the car super low, you have to make sure that the control arms in the subframe that I'll show you in the next clip are level. So as you see, these have stackers. So instead of cutting this off and raising this up, I can kind of selectively choose how high I raise the strut. Because ultimately we want the strut to have a ton of travel, but no body roll, if that makes sense. So they're a pretty cool plate, and they give you adjustability. The old motorsport cars, as you guys remember, they would just cut this top off, they'd move it to the top of the strut, weld it back on, and send you down the road, which worked great back in the 80s when this stuff was built. But the shock technology's come so far now that we can really do a lot with the custom shocks that we're going to have. So we got more goodies from Radium. This is that FCSTX. So this is actually super cool. It's a built-in surge tank. So it's got a lift pump, level sender, surge tank, fueling port. We got our refueling guy here, and I can show you the back of the car now. So we got this beautiful Radium surge tank in there. We got the cell mounted. You can see how high it is now. So it's not the lowest part of the car. It's as far forward as we could go. I mean, Radium makes super nice stuff. We bought the cage from them. These little hold down brackets. I mean, it makes it super, super easy. Jeff did a good job. It is tight and right in there. This is my Specky 30 hot rod. I'm getting ready to go racing. We got a couple hot rods. A drift car we built, and this is an RX-7 from Japan that one of our customers runs on a drift circuit. So transmission, still not done. Waiting on synchros. Got to get the bigger cup so I can run the Porsche center axles. Motor is covered up, pretty much ready to go. Got our clutch in finally from South Bend. So that's it on the powertrain side. Okay, we also got this stuff in from Tech 53 up in Canada. So these guys, first of all, this is a rear axle shim that they make. So you can kind of see it's machined. You can have them custom built for camber. So this one has 1.5 negative degrees of camber. But the cool thing about this setup is, so This is going to allow me to run those big Mark IV rear wheel bearings. So he makes this super sick tool steel hub that bolts right to the Mark II subframe, or rear axle, sorry. And it'll take, you know, the Mark IV calipers, and it's a direct swap. You don't got to do anything super fancy. But it's a nice piece. So trying to get everything stacked together so when it gets back for paint, we can just go. We are going to put the dash back in it. I was kind of on the fence, but it is kind of quintessentially Mark II, so we'll trim the crap out of it, get it to fit in there, and I think it'll give it that kind of touring car look. You can see the old subframe next to the Fabulous manufacturing subframe. Got our fenders off the car with the big Boomerang flares. We've cut the hell out of them, hopefully fit that 255 tire no problem. Setup is trick. Everybody that was into Volkswagens back in the Vortex days, remember swapping to a hydraulic pedal setup on a VW was a pain in the butt, let alone drive-by-wire, right? So this is a standard Mark II non-hydraulic pedal setup, and Fabulous Manufacturing makes this awesome kit, which you modify. We welded some of this bracketry to make it a little stronger. You kind of see in there, and then they mount this clutch slave up. It's a Mark III metal clutch slave. They give you like this top reinforcement plate. I mean, it makes life so easy. The drive-by-wire mount, so easy. Now I got drive-by-wire. Drive-by-wire and a hydraulic clutch without having to get super rare Corrado or older Passat stuff. So that is trick. So that's it. Quick wrap up on the build progression. We have a lot of parts and they're kind of scattered throughout the shop. Not waiting on too much stuff really in the hard part category, but really hoping to get the paint work done next week/weekend, and then really get rocking on putting this thing together. So just thanks for tagging along, and if you like what you're watching, subscribe, because we'll just keep posting more stuff about racing and doing this whole grid life craziness.